another very, very interesting story which did the rounds about 2 weeks back, and the date was announced as 6th of July for the launch of Maruti Suzuki's most expensive car on Indian roads ever. I'm talking about the multi-purpose utility vehicle MUV called Invicto. Invicto was one of the few cars from the Maruti stable assumed to be touching near about 20 lakh rupees or so in value. But guess what? It's not 20 lakhs. It's not 21 lakhs. It's almost 25 lakh rupees. That's Maruti Suzuki's most expensive car on Indian roads yet. And remember, Maruti Suzuki commands a 20% market share in the SUV segment. Unfortunately, Maruti has not yet been able to launch an electric vehicle. But if reports are to be believed, and if statements from Shashank Sharma are to be believed, to Reuters specifically, Maruti Suzuki is on its way to launch up to 6 electric vehicles by the end of this decade, by 2030 or so. Invicto, Krishna, we have made fun of this for a while, not of the Invicto, but of the fact that you've been wanting to buy a car for a while.
That is funny.
Were you waiting for prices to go up and for Maruti to launch more and more expensive cars, so you would finally put your hands on a 25 lakh rupee Maruti Suzuki Invicto?
Right, Karthik, it worked like this. These MPVs, SUVs, MUVs, are the name of the game today.
Yeah.
And, we keep talking about how, they were not meant to be the city cars because they're guzzlers.
Right.
They're huge, they're big, they're guzzlers. They're not meant for quick, snappy city driving.
But you know what? With the Invicto, which rides on the Toyota Innova Hycross model, it's a smart hybrid. It's pretty much on lines with the Grand Vitara hybrid. Yeah. So I think the fuel guzzling part of it has been taken care of in these hybrids. And these hybrids, of course, are one step reaching up to the electric vehicle mark, but they are somewhere in between the ICE and the EV segment. So I think the fuel part has been taken care of, the fuel guzzling part.
The larger point I'm trying to make here is that I've been waiting on a car because I've seen the trends just changed every 3 months to 6 months. Now you have the subcompact mini SUV, which wasn't existent about a year ago. So it's a good time to wait and watch and see how cars are evolving, and also how the prices of electric vehicles are going to be going forward, because they don't come at a premium today like they used to, say, 5 years ago. They're far more affordable today, you have a better ecosystem today. So actually, I'm thinking on whether to go all electric or to still stick by the traditional non-renewable fuel sources when it comes to buying a car. But to talk about the Invicto per se, it is the most expensive car from Maruti's stable, not known for launching the most expensive cars. But the fact of the matter is that one thing I just noticed was that it doesn't come with the ADAS feature in its top-end variant like the Toyota Innova Hycross does. But what the Invicto is, the first time it's a badge-engineered product which is run reverse. So you have the Maruti Baleno and the Toyota Glanza as parallel products. You have the Maruti Vitara Brezza and the Urban Cruiser of Toyota. In this case, it's the Invicto, which has been engineered and made in India, where it is, although it is based on the Toyota Innova Hycross platform, it is a car of its own. It is original from Maruti's stable, and comes in multiple variants, 7-seaters, 8-seaters, if some of them. So the question here is that will people go and buy a really expensive Maruti car? This was the first problem that broke out when the pricing came out of Maruti Invicto on social media. Everybody was like, hey, you're Maruti. I'm supposed to come to you for a great price differentiator or a great price value that I'm going to buy you for. So in that sense, it's not very expensive as compared to the Toyota Innova Hycross, but it's still right there in the league of pricing. So all the features, the tech wizardry inside the car, the utility of the car, all of that is very, very clear. My only question is, will Indians go out and spend top dollar on a Maruti MPV?
Amit, talk to me about the premiumization of the Maruti brand. And we've seen examples globally. Now, finally, with Nexa, and Nexa being pretty much, a synonym for the entire premium range of Maruti Suzuki brands. And most of these 15 lakh and above cars from the Maruti stable are now sold through the exclusive Nexa showrooms. Do you think from a management standpoint, there is a case in point here for Maruti to shed the Maruti tag on some of its elite cars?
They need to, because Maruti has a brand image of being a affordable car, north of 20 lakhs, you get a whole lot of buyers which are known as aspirational buyers.
Right.
What are they looking for? Mostly European cars when they came in. Volkswagen basically piggybacked on that emotion for quite some time. The whole campaign around the Beetle, which does not exist anymore, but was around this aspiration. So would Maruti be able to change its image with the name Maruti itself to basically bring in those aspirational buyers on the Maruti brand name, is what we have to wait and see. And let's see how they basically promote it, go about their campaigns, go about getting their customers in this segment. So that is what will be interesting to see, and it will become a very good case study actually.
Okay, but Krishna, on the contrary, 20% market share in SUVs, and Maruti Suzuki was a late entrant in the SUV space. Despite that, with recent launches of just about a year ago or so, talk about the Grand Vitara, talk about the Jimny, which the whole world was really waiting for with bated breath. You had the Jimny, you had the Fronx, which I'm not sure it would qualify as a compact SUV, but yeah, that's what it's been tagged as. So Fronx, Jimny, Grand Vitara, now the Invicto, and add to that maybe even the Brezza.
Yeah.
These sort of complete the SUV, MPV, MUV gamut stack of Maruti.
Maruti, yeah.
Despite the Maruti tag, despite the Maruti tag and being a late entrant into the SUV large car market, it has got a 20% market share. It hopes by the end of this financial year, FY24, to take it 5 notches higher up to 25% market share.
Right.
Is there any need to shed the trust of the Maruti brand, just like Tata hasn't shed the Tata brand with the acquisition of JLR?
Right, but the thing is that Tata has a hit product on its hand called Nexon in the entire SUV segment.
Tata had a very, very beautiful flop model called Indica, which sold numbers, but only taxis.
Mini hatchback is what an Indica is, roughly speaking.
Was.
We are in a new SUV world. Everything is a version of an SUV. And you're talking about the Jimny. Wasn't it the same concern with Maruti pricing the Jimny above the Thar, so to speak? In this case, the Invicto and Hycross, the difference is 30,000 rupees or 50,000 rupees at best. There's hardly any price difference. But there are features difference. For example, the Invicto comes in 3 trims. There is 2 versions of 7-seater and 1 8-seater version.
Right.
Whereas the Toyota Innova Hycross comes in 5 trims. So the options are more in Toyota Innova Hycross. The top-end model of Toyota Innova Hycross, as I've been telling you guys, has the ADAS features, the Advanced Driver Assistance feature, which an Invicto doesn't. And there are a couple of other features which the top-end models of Toyota Innova Hycross has, which a Invicto doesn't. Does that justify the 30 to 50 grand difference in price? I'm not really sure. But then again, you're talking about Maruti's gambit in this entire space. Look at what's happening. It's going up against the Thar with the Jimny. It's going up against a Toyota Innova Hycross with Invicto. These are not easy things to accomplish. So I will give Maruti a fair amount of time, because Tata took its own time making Nexon a hit.
Right.
So I will give Maruti its own time to see how it can dominate the big, massive SUV segment, which is called the MPV and others, from Jimny to Invicto.
Right. So Krishna is going to give Maruti Suzuki some time to assert its dominance in the SUV MPV market.